Greetings, friends, and welcome to Firefly in the Willow Yoga. I'm Rebecca. In today's class, we'll be focusing on poses that help us to feel safe, stable, and strong, so that in the words of Mary Oliver, we can go easy, be filled with light, and shine. I won't be using any props for today's class, but you're welcome to bring any props that will enhance your practice. So now take a moment, gather what you need, and I'll see you on the mat.
So we'll come to our mats today in a comfortable seat. So just find your way there. And maybe just take a deep breath. Allow yourself to settle. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Take a deep breath. Just take a moment here and allow yourself to drop into your body. You can keep your eyes closed or keep them open if you like. And allow your hands just to rest wherever they feel comfortable. Maybe that's on your knees or maybe in your lap. As you take your next deep breath, imagine yourself growing tall. And as you exhale, imagine all your stress and worries or concerns just melting like wax. Inhale all the way down deep into the belly. And then exhale. And continue to breathe deeply like that on your own for another couple rounds of breath. Maybe taking the deepest breaths you've taken so far all day today. And when you've completed those deep breaths, just come back to natural breathing. You can allow your eyelids to flutter open if your eyes were closed. We're going to check the cross of the legs and see that the right leg is crossed in front of the left. So check yourself here. See that that right leg is crossed in front. And if you need to reach back and pull some flesh out of the way to let those sits bones really ground down into the earth. And then from here, we'll take the hands out to the sides, sweeping the arms up overhead. So we take a nice big inhale, reaching up through the fingertips. And then exhale, dropping over to the right. Inhale to grow tall. And exhale, twisting just a little deeper if that feels good. And then we'll inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, twisting to the left. Inhale, growing tall. And exhale, twisting from the center of the chest. Inhale, arms come back overhead. And we'll exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. Keeping this right leg bent now, we're going to extend that left leg out long. So the right sole of the foot will come to the inside of the left leg. And remember that your left knee can be soft here, but we'll pull the toes back towards the face and turn the belly button towards the knee here. Taking a nice deep breath to grow tall, We'll exhale, lengthening out over that leg from the center of the chest. So just warming up here, being nice and gentle. This may be a very small movement. We'll inhale to release slightly and exhale, deepening back into the stretch. Inhale, release. Exhale, lengthening out over the leg. Inhale, release. Exhale, lengthening out over the leg. And inhale to sit back up tall. We'll take that extended leg now and cross it in front of the other leg. And then sit back up tall. And once again, inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, dropping to one side. Bringing the fingertips around behind the base of the spine. Inhaling to grow tall. And exhaling to twist. Inhaling, arms come back up overhead. And exhale, twisting in the opposite direction. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then taking that right leg, extending that leg out long. Left sole of the foot comes to the inside of the right leg. And we'll do this again, turning the navel towards the knee, softening the knee if we need to. Exhaling, growing long over the leg. Inhale to release. Exhale, deepen. Inhale, release. Exhale. Inhale to release. And exhale. One last time. Inhale back up to seated. And we'll bring that leg back in, also crossing that back in the front. Bringing the hands to the knees now, we'll come through some seated cat-cow. So bringing the palms to the front of the knees, we can inhale to allow the chest to come forward. And exhale, pulling the belly button into the spine, rounding through the shoulders, taking any natural movements back here to bring this stretch into muscles that are hungry for it. Inhaling to come forward. Exhale, navel to spine. Go ahead and move through this with your own breath a couple of times. And then after you've taken your next exhale, we'll just all meet together. Good. So now from our cross-legged position, we're going to exhale. And as we do so, we're going to lean forward slightly, bringing the palms of the hands or maybe the fingertips to the floor. So this really depends on your comfort level here. We'll take a deep breath. And as we exhale, we'll lower forward slightly. This could be a very small movement for you as it depends on the flexibility in the outer hip. And if it's uncomfortable for you to have the bones stacked, you can bring the legs parallel here. So just allow yourself to sink forward any amount, keeping the sits bones grounded down to the floor behind you. Feeling that sensation in the outside hip of the front leg. And then we'll inhale to walk the fingertips back towards the body. And switch the cross of the leg here so that the other leg is in front. Taking a nice deep breath to grow tall. We'll exhale, walking those fingertips out any amount in front. Working to keep the shoulders on the back so that we're sinking forward from the center of the chest. Almost like your heart is what's leading you forward here. And then we'll inhale to release. We're going to move back towards the back of the mat now, coming to a Dandasana. So imagine here that you're standing on the floor. So if you were standing, your feet would be flat on the floor. So see if you can bring that flat foot here, really flexing the toes back towards the face, and allow the knees to be soft. If you need to, you can put a rolled up towel or something behind the knees. And from here, sitting up nice and tall, we're going to inhale, bringing the arms up overhead. And then exhale, folding forward any amount. The hands rest on the legs. Inhale to release a little. And then exhale back into this fold. Inhale to bring the arms overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, release for the legs. Inhale up halfway. And exhale to release. This is like a seated sun breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Do this one more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Really reach up through those fingertips. Exhale, out over the legs. Knees staying soft. Inhale to release. Exhale, deepening over the legs. And then inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Keeping that left leg extended out in front, I'm going to bring the right knee into the chest. I'm going to come into a twist here. So you can choose if you like to keep this right knee right in front of you, or if you'd like to cross it over the left. We're going to take that left arm out wide as we inhale. And then as we exhale, wrap that left arm around the right knee and swim these fingertips back, coming into a twist. And remember that your hand can be anywhere on this knee. You can be holding on with your hand or with your elbow, or if you prefer to bring your elbow around in front of the knee. Lots of options here, none necessarily better than the other, just what works for you. And allow that to release. We'll bring the right leg out and extend it out long next to the left. And then bring that that left knee into the chest. Hug that in. Decide where you like to place it. Keeping those right toes pulling back. Inhaling, right arm comes open. Exhale, right arm comes around the left leg and swinging the left fingertips around behind. Nice, tall, straight spine here if you can. A deep breath. And then exhale, releasing back to center. Scoot forward on the mat just a little here. We're going to come into a flow. So I'll show you what this is going to look like. This is going to be a Dandasana, forward fold, which is what we were doing a moment ago, and then coming into a reverse tabletop. So we'll inhale the arms up overhead as we did before, exhaling, extending long over the legs. Inhale back up to a seated position, and then allow the hands to reach back behind the hips, all 10 fingers pointing forward as we lift the hips up from the floor. Now, this can be a little difficult on the shoulders, so if you do have any shoulder difficulties, you might just want to stick with the forward fold, so you can make that choice here. Now, if you want to come along with me, inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, extending long over the legs. Inhale, dragging the fingertips back, all 10 fingers facing forward. Exhale, lifting the hips. And then coming back to seated. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, extend long over the legs. Inhale, drag the fingers back. Exhale, lift the hips. Back to your seat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, extend long. Inhale, drag the fingers back. And exhale, lift the hips. And exhale to release, coming back to your Dandasana. You can use your hands to help yourself move your legs out of the way now. We'll come onto all fours just briefly. And we're going to bring that right foot in between the hands. So bringing your right foot in between your hands, coming into a low lunge with the right leg forward here. And if you like, you can place one hand and then the other above that bent knee and allow that left hip to sink forward, stretching through the front of the thigh muscle. And then exhale to release, bringing the hands around the foot. And we'll step the left foot to meet the right and come up to stand. And now from our standing position, we'll allow our hips to sink backward as we come into chair pose. So hands can be at heart center, they can be extended out front, or if you like, you can bring the biceps out around the ears. And from here, I'm just going to come through a flow, inhaling to stand, bringing the arms up overhead, and exhaling, coming to chair pose. Doing whatever feels natural with the arms here. Inhaling to stand. Exhale, come to chair. Inhale to stand. And exhale, come to chair pose. One more time. Inhaling to stand. Really grounding down through the feet, reaching out through the fingertips. And exhale, chair pose. We'll hold our chair pose here for 3, 2, and 1. Then allow the fingertips to find the floor. We're going to step back with the right leg so that we're framing the left foot with the hands. And just check in here, see if you can stack the knee over the ankle. And then we'll ground down through that right hand, nice wide fingertips as we inhale the left arm open. Left, easy twist. And then exhale, bringing that left hand down. We'll plant both hands, stepping the left foot to the back, coming to a plank or to a half plank. Holding here. 3, 2, and one. And then dropping the knees if they're not dropped already. We'll hug the elbows into the sides, coming to knees, chest, and chin, all the way to the floor. Taking the tops of the feet to the floor, hands are right next to the chest, pressing the tops of the feet into the floor so much that the knees lift from the floor. And then hugging those elbows in, using the back muscles, we'll inhale up to baby cobra. And exhale to release. Pressing ourselves up away from the mat now. We'll do this on the other side, bringing the left foot in between the hands. Coming into a left low lunge, taking one hand and then the other above the left leg, sinking forward through that right hip, feeling that stretch through the front of the hip flexor. Nice big deep breath here, grounding down through that left foot. And then on your exhale, coming back to frame the left foot with the hands and bringing the right foot forward to meet the left. Inhaling up to stand when you're ready. And then exhale, sinking those hips back into chair pose. Inhale to grow tall for Tadasana, mountain pose. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, chair. And moving through this flow once more. Inhaling, growing tall. Exhale, coming to your chair pose, sinking the hips back, holding it here in our chair pose. Pulling the belly button into the spine for 3, 2, 1. And then exhaling, fingertips all the way down to the floor. Right foot stays forward this time, stepping back with the left and planting the left hand. Inhaling the right arm, open wide. Exhale, right hand comes back down to the mat, planting both hands, stepping the right leg back, coming to your plank or half plank. Really pulling that belly button in tight, pressing away from the mat, holding it here. 3, 2, 1. Dropping the knees, elbows hugging into the sides, exhaling all the way down to the belly. Tops of the feet come to the floor, pressing into the floor actively. Inhale, cobra or baby cobra. Exhale, release. And then press yourself back up here. And you can bring the right or the left leg in between the hands. We're just coming up to stand here. And bringing the other foot to meet. And inhale up to Tadasana. Take a moment here just to reflect. And we'll allow the hands come down beside the hips if they haven't already. Building a nice stable Tadasana from the ground up. So you might lift your toes and allow them to fall back to the mat, nice and wide. Firm the calves, soften the knees a little. Pull the belly button into the spine, roll the shoulders back. Tuck in the chin just slightly. And just feel the stability of this shape. And then from here, we'll take the hands, excuse me, to the hips, grounding down into the left foot. We'll take a big step back with the right foot. Mostly you're coming into a high lunge here with the heel lifted. And then from here, we're going to drop the heel towards the inside a little so that the toes are pointing up towards the top corner of the mat. Squaring the hips as much as you can, just pulling back on this left, forward on the right, And then when you're ready, inhale the arms up overhead, coming into warrior one. Stacking the knee over the ankle, reaching up nice and tall, engaging the glute, pulling the belly button in, pressing out through the feet like you're going to tear your mat in half. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, without moving the feet, open up to warrior two. Notice that your hips do not face directly parallel to the long side of the mat here, but are actually more in an anatomically natural position at about a 45-degree angle here. And if this is different from how you've done warrior two, just experiment with this today. Just see what this feels like. And then dropping the back hand, we'll reach the front arm up long, coming into reverse warrior. And if you like, you can take your gaze up towards your fingertips, or you can look back, pardon me, over your other shoulder. Windmilling the arms around now, we'll come down to frame the left foot. And you can step the right foot back a little here for a high lunge if you like. Dropping the knee to the mat now. You can take one hand and then the other over this front bent knee, pressing forward through the right hip, coming into low lunge. Inhaling the arms up overhead, only if you like. Exhale, hands come down to frame the left foot. And then we'll send the hips back, coming into a half split here. Pulling the left toes up towards the face. If you're feeling a lot of sensation behind the knee, allow that knee to soften so that you can bring this stretch into the muscles of the hamstring and the calf. Rolling forward on that foot now, we're going to plant the right hand into the mat and take the left knee back to meet the right. We're going to kickstand that right foot out to the side and extend the left leg out long as we come into a supported side plank on this side. Now, if you know your plank and you'd like to extend that right leg here, you can do that now. And then on your next exhale, allow that left hand to come back around. Take that left leg in between the hands now. Inhaling the arms up, maybe one at a time, maybe overhead. And then exhale, opening to the left for a left open twist. Inhale back to center, arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands swim down, coming back to frame the left leg, stepping the left leg to the right. Inhaling, arms come overhead. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Take a moment here again to reflect and readjust, building that nice Tadasana from the ground up. And then bringing the hands to the hips. We'll take a big step back with the left leg, coming into a high lunge for just a moment, and then dropping that heel to the inside so that the left toes are facing up towards the front of the mat. Really pressing out actively through both feet here, engaging that left glute, pulling back through the right hip. Warrior one. Holding it here for 3, 2, 1. And then opening up, warrior two, taking the gaze over those front fingertips, pressing out through the outer edges of the feet, and then flipping that front palm, scooping the air up as we come into reverse warrior. Choosing if you like the gaze to be forward or maybe looking over the back shoulder. And then windmilling the hands around, coming down to frame the right foot this time. Scooting that foot back for a right lunge. And then dropping that back knee. Maybe the top of the foot comes to the floor. Maybe the toes are tucked under. Inhaling, coming up. Exhale, hands come down to frame the right foot. Nice big inhale here. And then as we exhale, drawing the right hip back, pulling the right toes towards the face, keeping the front knee just as soft as you need it to be. Inhaling to roll forward, planting both hands, stepping the right knee back to meet the left, and then kickstanding that left knee out to the side as we ground into the left hand and open up into a supported side plank or maybe a full side plank on this side. Allowing that right arm to swim back around and plant down next to the left. We'll bring that left knee or ankle back in and step through to the front with the right leg. Coming back to a right low lunge. And then inhaling, come up in our lunge and exhaling, open twist towards the right. So left knee, left top of the foot are on the floor. Right foot's forward, opening towards the right side. And then inhale, bringing those hands back overhead. Exhale, hands come down to frame that right foot. And then bringing the left foot to meet the right. Inhale, up to stand. Hands come to heart center. Taking a moment to readjust. Coming back again into our nice, stable Tadasana. Hands come to heart, not to heart center, sorry. Hands come to the waistline. And taking a big step back again with the right leg. We'll allow that right heel to drop. Inhaling, arms overhead, coming into warrior one again on this side. Inhale, grow tall. And exhale, open up, warrior two. Straightening through that front leg now. We'll send those hips out to the side as we really reach out nice and long, trying to create lots of space here in the side of the body as we drop that hand down, coming into a triangle pose. So alignment here, far more important than how far you go down. So you might have a hand above the knee or a hand below the knee, or maybe all the way down to the ankle or the floor. And then when you're ready, engaging everything coming up from your triangle like someone's pulling you up. And then allowing all 10 toes to Come to face the front of the mat. We'll turn the toes towards the back of the mat now, taking a step towards the back of the mat and coming to a Tadasana or mountain pose at the back of the mat. Taking the hands to the waistline again, we'll ground down into that left leg as we step back, nice big step back with the right, coming into our warrior one pose now facing the back of the mat. Really pressing out through the feet here, like we're tearing that mat apart, engaging that right glute. And then as we exhale, opening up warrior two. Gaze comes over that front hand, deepening into the knee, keeping that knee lined up over the ankle. And then as we inhale, straightening through that front leg, and then dropping that back hand, reaching out as far as you can with the left fingertips and dropping into your triangle on this side. Gaze can stay straightforward or come up towards the thumb, whatever works for you. And keeping all those muscles engaged, inhaling to come up from your triangle. All 10 toes facing towards the back of the mat now. And then turning the toes towards the top of the mat and coming to stand back at the top of the mat, having come full circle. From here, we'll inhale the arms up overhead, reaching out through the fingertips. And then exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. And as we do so, allowing the hips to begin to sink down. It's really pulling that navel into the spine here. You're going to sink all the way down. You may need to support yourself with your fingertips on the floor here. So find the support that you need as we come into a toe balance. So your feet can be hip width apart, or if you like, you can walk the big toes and the arches of the feet together, really zipping the legs up here, pulling that belly button into the spine, maybe coming up to a balance, finding a focal point, place to keep your eyes. And if your fingertips are on the floor here, just allowing that to be what it is, taking the support that you need for this pose. Another breath here. And then we'll exhale, bringing the fingertips back down to the floor and support yourself with your hands by planting your hands here. And we're going to step the right leg back and then allow the left foot to walk over to the outside edge of the mat as we find our way into a pigeon pose here. So left foot forward, right leg extending out back, coming into pigeon. Okay. Dragging that left hip back, pressing forward through the right. Inhaling to come up nice and tall here. And maybe if you have pillows or blocks available, maybe you like to stick something under that left hip if it's up from the ground quite a bit. And then choosing if you'd like to stay up tall here today, or if you'd like to exhale, coming forward into sleeping swan. Allowing your head to be relaxed here, either supported on a block or a pillow or your hands or the floor. See if you can press into the top of the big toe mound. on the right foot that's extended out behind. And then bring your breath into the outside of that left hip, imagining that it could expand and contract with your long, slow breath. One more long breath here. And then inhaling back up to palms or fingertips. We're going to allow ourselves to come back to sit on the left hip, coming into a wide leg seated stance here. And then from your wide legged seat, pull the toes back towards the face, bend the knees just as much as you need to, and allow yourself to sink forward again from the center of the chest, coming forward any amount here. Inhale to come back up. And we'll turn towards the other leg now, bending the knee and bringing ourselves around into our pigeon on the other side. So make whatever arrangements you need to make to come into your pigeon. And then inhale to grow nice and tall here. Drawing that front hip back, pulling forward through the back hip. And then exhale. If you like, coming down to your sleeping pigeon. Again, breathing into that outer hip, imagining that it expands and contracts with your breath. Releasing any places that you might be holding or resisting against the pose, just allowing yourself to relax, knowing that you are safe here on your mat. And one more deep breath here. And then we'll inhale up to fingertips. And exhale, dropping over onto that right hip, coming back to a seat. And you can bring your legs around in front here. And once we've sort of equalized ourselves here, we're going to swing the legs around behind and come to a hero's pose, sitting back on the heels here. And if you like to bring a blanket under your knees here to pad your mat a little, you can do that. So from our hero's pose, we're going to allow ourselves to come up to the knees, roll the toes under. We'll inhale the arms up overhead, maybe allowing the gaze to follow the hands if that feels good. And then exhale, coming to goddess arms, really opening up through the chest here, dropping the gaze forward. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, goddess arms. Really pulling that belly button in, supporting the spine here, engaging the glutes. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, goddess arms. Inhale, arms come up overhead. We'll allow that right hand to swim around, to come to the back of the hip here as we really extend that left arm up towards the ceiling, taking the gaze to follow. And you can keep that hand pressing on the back of the hip, or if you like, you can allow the fingertips to come back down. I can't find my right heel, to the right heel, coming into a half camel pose. Inhaling to rise up. We'll allow the left arm to swim down, bringing the tops of the feet to the floor, and just gently relaxing back into hero's pose for a moment here, maybe rounding forward through the shoulders. And then rising back up to the knees, rolling the toes back under. We'll inhale, arms up overhead. And then exhale, left hand down to the back of the left hip, extending up through the fingertips. Keeping it right here if you like, or on your next exhale, reaching back to that left heel. One arm camel. Inhale, left arm comes back up to meet the right. And exhale, sinking back down into hero's pose. And maybe stretching out through the back. We'll allow the legs to come out to the side again now as we come back to a seat in our Dandasana. Stretching those legs out nice and long, maybe wiggling out through the knees a bit. And then once again, pulling those toes back towards the face, just like we're standing on the floor here, bringing that little bend under the knees if you need to. We'll come through the sun breath flow once more, inhaling arms up overhead. Exhale, long over the legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, releasing over the legs. Inhale all the way up. Hands come to heart center. And then once more, inhaling arms up overhead. Exhale, extending long over the legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, release. And inhale all the way back up to seated. And bring the hands to heart center. Nice big deep breath here. And then we'll come down to the back. Bring the knees into the chest here, if you like. Rolling out through the lower back. Rolling side to side. Bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. We'll allow the feet to come out as wide as the mat. And just begin to windshield wiper the legs gently from side to side. Maybe taking it a little deeper as we feel comfortable. And then when you're ready, allowing the knees to sink down just as far to one side as feels good for you. Maybe allowing the arms to reach out from side to side, or maybe bringing them to a goddess pose if you have some limited space as I do. You can take the gaze over the opposite shoulder. And if it feels good for you, you can rest one ankle over the top of the lowered knee, choosing the level of sensation that you like to have. And then if you've brought the ankle to the knee, allowing that to be released and just again beginning to gently windshield wiper the knees from side to side, allowing the pelvis to resettle. And then as you become ready, dropping the knees over to the other side. Finding that bind on the side, if you like. And then allowing that bind to be released. And shield wiping the knees gently from side to side. And then allowing the knees to come in to rest on each other. We'll bring one hand to the heart and the other hand to the belly. Just taking a moment here in constructive rest pose. Reconnecting with the breath. Maybe feeling your own heartbeat here. We'll move into Shavasana here. You can take your Shavasana time in any way that you like. So if this shape feels particularly good to you, you can stay right here. But we'll take these few moments to stay on the mat and just to relax and integrate our practice. There are many options for Shavasana. You can extend the arms and legs out long. You can roll to one side, or you can even roll onto the belly, taking a crocodile pose with the hands stacked under the head. So just take a moment here to choose where you'd like to spend this time and settle in. Begin to reawaken. Maybe drag your thumb over the tips of your fingers one at a time. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Perhaps stretch out with your arms overhead like your first stretch of the day. And then roll to one side. And you can stay there resting on your side. Well, if you choose, you can press yourself back up to a seated position. We'll end class today with an excerpt from the poem When I Am Among the Trees by Mary Oliver. When I am among the trees, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I'm so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me, the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches. And they call again. "It's simple," they say. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. May your day be filled with light, and may you also shine. And may your yoga follow you off the mat.